a man, after a busy week at the office, likes nothing more than to spend his weekends wrestling with the underside of a car. It's his hobby and he loves it. But we're nearly all of us romantics at heart, and in his innermost secret imagination, the man tinkering with the family car is very likely ordering a racing team back into the pits for adjustments at some famous international meeting. It's the same with the weekend driver. How many of us, as we fret and fume in traffic jams, don't sometimes dream of roaring along an open track, passing everything in sight? Much the same is going on in the mind of this youngster. He's a do-it-yourself fan, and he's mad about car racing. So the one thing he wants is a go-kart, a miniature racing car with a hotted-up engine not much larger than the engine of a lawnmower. Karting has made a big hit with the people who like to do things with a spanner and get behind a wheel. You can buy a complete kart, or you can save money buying it in parts and putting them together yourself. You can get a set from about £70, plus the cost of the engine. Making up the kart in the backyard is a heaven of a job for any small boy. And it's amazing how many small boys there are in this world, aged anything up to 70. When it's completed, a kart can weigh as little as half a hundredweight, plus the engine. And when the wheels are on and the steering pin fixed, what more does a boy want to do than sit in it and see what it feels like? Even as he does so, he's looking ahead. Yes, looking ahead to this, to the days when he'll be kart racing with the rest of them. That's karting, motor racing in miniature. Today, 3 years or so after it first started, more than 5,000 people hold RAC kart track licenses. People of all sorts and all sizes, aged from 12 upwards. There's quite a strong family element in the sport, with father often running the mechanical side and doing the maintenance, and the son driving. Here's young Stephen South, who's only 12, but a keen karter, getting ready for a practice run in Hertfordshire. The track official checks his equipment to see everything's in order. Then his father gives him a helping hand to get underway. Wendy Pendlebury and her husband are both karting enthusiasts, and she gets in all the practice she can, so that she too can take up racing. Her husband keeps the kart in tip-top working order and gives her a flying start on the Saturday afternoon practice circuit. These test runs round the track are part of the karter's ritual. It's usually practice on Saturday, racing on Sunday, and maintenance at odd times for the rest of the week. There are more than 80 kart clubs in Britain, and there are at least 500 race meetings a year, all supervised by the Royal Automobile Club. Small karts are highly tuned and can be temperamental. They can take a lot of work to keep them up to racing pitch. Here's another typical father and son team enjoying their favourite hobby of putting engines together. Father is Graham Sutherland, a company executive. Martin is 20, an engineering student and a successful kart racing driver. They strip the machine down after every meeting, for this is a game for enthusiasts. Yes, karting and the boat race. They're among the few really amateur sports left in Britain today. Now it's ready. Every nut and bolt has been examined and they're all set for the next meeting. Just a short push start to see that the engine fires all right. And she does. Then comes the loading up and they're away. Ahead of them, at the track on Lakenheath Airfield in Suffolk, are scores of karters arriving from various parts of the South and the Midlands. Meetings like this are regular fixtures from Scotland to the West Country. The first thing to do is to get the kart unpacked and started up, ready for its trial run. Soon they'll know whether all those hours on maintenance have paid off. All this early morning pre-race preparation is the karter's special delight. He gets a crack at last-minute adjustments from tuning to wheel changing, and he finds 101 excuses for getting at an engine. It's a happy turmoil in the pit area of any kart meeting. The karters come equipped for anything. It's hard to say who started all this, but Captain Flynn, one of the race officials, is generally said to be the man who waved the flag. He brought his kart into Britain when he was in the US Air Force back in the late 50s. The sport the Americans started has certainly caught on. For a meeting like this will attract over 100 entries, some of them competing in heats for the national championship. Part of the ritual, of course, is a practice start, when a driver can get a yard or two's edge on the field. All this is a critical time for the people in the pits. Lap times have to be clocked, faults have to be noted. All camps must watch for the running of likely rivals. Yes, this really is a small version of Le Mans on a windswept heath in Britain. After the practice, the final adjustments, made against time in the happy hurry that the karter gets used to. Then down to the track, and soon they'll be off over 24 laps, weaving through the straw bales on the airstrip. The track must be 20 feet or more wide, can wind like a snake, and be half a mile or more in circuit. According to the class of engine, the karts can lap at well over 40 miles an hour and do a lot more in the short straights. Driving takes skill and split-second judgment. That's karting for you. There are some who think these tiny cars could help to solve the parking problem. One or two enthusiasts have even adapted karts to make them usable on the road. Though, of course, in a typically English summer, an umbrella is an essential spare. But the future of karting, like its past, is on the track and in the dreams of the man on his way to the office.